Best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. Second best time is today. Now, the question is, in light of everything that's going on post-election, I want to know if I should wait to buy a house. Now, I am not a financial advisor, and I'm not your financial advisor, so I'm not giving you financial advice here. This is just more broadly speaking. But let's talk about what could happen over the next several years as it relates to housing. For starters, a lot of people are talking about this deportation ban, that it's going to get rid of a lot of immigrants, which will free up and create more housing to rent. There's just one issue with this. The US population is almost 335 million, and there's a national housing crisis. There's not enough housing, there's not enough affordable housing, and when it comes to the immigrants, well, Donald Trump wants to deport millions of people. But big picture, let's think about this. Immigrants, maybe they live in really concentrated communities. We're talking about 335 million Americans across the entire United States versus, say, 10 million illegal immigrants. Maybe he deports a couple million of them. What are we really talking about big picture in terms of like housing becoming more affordable because there's a few more vacancies? As far as rent goes, which I know your question was about housing, but as far as rent goes, do you really think landlords will say, oh, well, I have, 10 million fewer tenants, I'll just lower the rent? No, they probably won't. But your real question was, is now a good time to buy a house or should I wait? So the other side of the coin when it comes to this deportation ban is laborers. Now, like it or not, construction companies, infrastructure, home builders, they rely on a lot of immigrants, and many of them are undocumented. So they're able to pay them a little bit less. Again, like it or not, that's the system, that's how it is. And as we know, home builders, construction rely heavily on immigrants. Again, they might be undocumented. I don't know what the percentage is. Okay, I just Googled, it is around 10 to 20% of the construction employees are undocumented that we know of. It could be higher. Now, I know a lot of people say, well, when you deport them, this will create more jobs for Americans. But number one, we have a way higher cost of living. That means if you bring in more American people to do these jobs, you're going to be paying them higher wages. Those wages will be passed on to the consumer, the home buyers. Number two, the idea that we just deport all of these people and then immediately replace them with American workforce, well, maybe they're not skilled in that sort of labor, which could create a further shortage in labor and in workers. So you're deporting the people who do the job and you're not replacing them because we're unskilled in that sort of type of labor. Either there is a shortage of workers, which means the costs will go up, or you have to hire more American workers who maybe they are skilled to do this, but they're going to demand higher salaries, so the costs will go up. That's the first side of things. Now let's talk about tariffs. Not just on appliances like dishwashers, microwaves, ovens, refrigerators, which mostly predominantly come from overseas, but materials as well to build these houses. Wood, aluminum, steel, concrete. I don't know. I'm guessing a lot of this stuff is probably imported. You have a potential labor shortage driving up the prices, or you have to hire American workers driving up the prices, and you have these tariffs, which will be passed on to consumers. Which the home builders, for the materials, for the appliances, all of these things will be added on to the consumer. Much like the stock market, people say, hey, I'm 20, I'm 30, I'm 40. Should I wait? Should I wait to start investing until we know we're on sound footing, if there is or isn't a recession? No, you should start. You should always just start. The longer you wait, the more expensive it becomes. Same can be said for housing. The longer you wait, the more expensive it will become. I live in Washington, D.C. When I was a kid, a single family house in the early 1990s was around $250,000. By the time I was in high school, they were touching $1 million. Now, houses in my neighborhood are anywhere from $2 million, and those are total teardowns, to $4, $5, or $6 million. I also worry that if everyone is in this mad dash to go buy a home because they think these deportations and tariffs will affect things, that will also further drive up prices. So what are you going to do? When you add in everything, I'm not in the mindset of prices will come down. Probably not at all. In fact, they'll probably go up.